Hi, everyone. I think both the
Hello.
faculty as well as the students joined and joining. And I welcome all of you from a college to to have joined this program by GHRC. I think many of you are aware that we have conducted sessions for you about this association, this group, GHRC community. And so maybe you're not really paid that much attention to understand exactly what the purpose of this GHRC and who started this and who are actually driving this. So the main purpose, based on what I gathered in my interactions with these, very well-respected professionals, well-accomplished professionals who have started this community, is that to serve the basically HR community. And when you say HR community is basically entire HR purpose is to basically empower people to realize their dreams, their goals in various ways. So their focus is on helping people, human beings, to achieve what they can probably achieve, and they enable that achievement through various means. The profession of HR also is basically to help the people. So this community is specially conceptualized and is being built by very well accomplished, highly respected professionals from even a global standpoint. I know three of them. One is Srikanth Arimanatiya. He was till recently, the global head of EY GDS, global head of HR. It's almost like under him, more than, I think, 75,000 people, I think, were working approximately that people globally, not only in India, across the world. And he was, and he had, again, experience of managing such organizations before even EY. So that is one, very highly accomplished, highly, driven, highly, purpose-driven, individual. He wants to build this community to bring all the people together, and with the purpose of, bringing at least, increasing the level of achievement, level of performance of the people across various sectors, industries, countries. It's a globally designed organization. The second one, again, I know again for many years is S.V. Nathan. He again retired recently from Deloitte. Again, Deloitte is again number one, professional services firm in the world, one of the largest. And he was heading their both, I think the Shared Service Center, Deloitte USI. Okay. So Nathan is a very well-known across the country, very, very well-known, well-respected HR professional. And wherever you go in any HR conference, Nathan's name is, very, very popular. Everyone knows about him. Very well-respected person. He's also one of the co-founders of this entire the HR community. And the other gentleman is Ramesh Ranjan. Again, Ramesh is I think, spent throughout his career in industry, various, I think, multinational companies. He was the chief people officer for many companies. And again, he took retirement recently, and again started working and being part of this. Again, co-founded this GHRC, and he also he also like to teach. He teaches at I think, many MBA colleges in Bangalore. He's also, I think, a doctorate professor also. So these these three people broadly, mainly, and from their experience, they must have dealt with, hundreds of thousands of people across their, throughout their life. And they know exactly what it takes for a person to accomplish, whatever one wants to accomplish in life, to achieve the goals, to be successful. And, so their purpose is to bring entire HR profession to on one platform and them, help the people to be, make them successful. So, and I have been fortunate to be, knowing all these people, met them, in many occasions. I was quite impressed by their enthusiasm and their purpose for serving this community and also the people. So, and we have become the members of this GHRC community. And every student of Ethames College is also a member of GHRC. And it has lots of opportunities, a lot of resources available for anybody to learn anything. And unfortunately, we are not really utilizing all the capabilities of the platform. So the purpose of today's meeting, and they will at least take us through what is there and what one can accomplish with using that platform, how one can utilize that platform. And so that's, I think, the broad purpose for which this, our membership also is there. And these well-accomplished professionals, they are taking the time out and to address our college, our students, and our faculty, and how we can make a difference, how even GHRC can make a difference to our students as well as to our faculty in whatever it is possible. So that's the whole idea, that being part of this community, and our, if we are successful, they'll all be successful. So they are very keen to help us to realize and maybe advise us on how we can be more successful in our own, either profession or in the life. So all of you kindly pay attention to them, listen to them, understand what is there, and how we can, take advantage of our membership and the guidance of these very senior and very well accomplished, professionals to guide us. So with that, I leave the, I think, floor to Ramesh. Are you taking, or maybe
Nathan? We can request Nathan.
Nathan, yeah, he has to leave. I think suddenly, yeah. Nathan, please go ahead. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kali. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. You are a very, very accomplished person yourself. And the fact that you are focused so much on education talks about your love for what you're trying to do at this stage in your life and career. So thank you for what you do. Sometimes people who start such institutions, they don't start these institutions saying that this is what is going to happen to the people that come in through the portals. But in the growing years, you will discover that many of them have done so exceedingly well in their lives and careers that it makes you really proud to know that they have been part of Ethames. So that is one of the greatest satisfaction that teachers get, and particularly founders such as your good self. What I thought I'll do today is split this in two parts. One is, why is it important for us to go beyond just what we study in our colleges, and what is it that you got to do to make a successful life and career? I remember in my growing years, there were two kinds of people, or rather three kinds of people in class. The people who are the front benchers were normally those people who will do very well in their studies because they're all very focused on what the teacher is saying, and they'll take copious notes and they'll do very well. And so that's one kind of people. The second one are the middle benchers, because they don't know whether they got to be stepping up in front or they are the kind of people who are going behind, but they're kind of caught in the middle. The backbenchers are all the, in my day, they were called the naughty fellas, because they would be sitting in, they're not worried about what's happening really in class, but they are very interested in what is happening with each other. Over a course of the last 40 years, And I have been a student of behavioral science, and I've been a head of a institution for behavioral science as a chairman for the last almost 4 or 5 years. And I noticed one very, very nice thing which had happened. The people who are the backbenchers do exceedingly well in their lives. Again, they are of two kinds. One, who are the very curious lot, they do very well. The others, they have no interest in their lives. I don't think anything has happened in their lives. The front benchers, not all of them will do very well. The front benchers, some of them will do well, but they don't have the skills of the people in the last benches. The backbenchers are people who network very well. At the drop of a hat, they can rustle 10 people to come to their help. Not everybody who's a front bencher can do that. So what we felt was, what if we democratize this whole thing and say that the reason why some people do very well and some people maybe could do better is only on this account. You may be good in your job, but if you did not have a side hustle, or if you did not know others who are around, I think that's a part of education that you may be missing. And that's the very reason, the seed, why we said, let's start GHRC. And Ramesh, of course, will spend more time talking about what GHRC is, but the real thing is, how can we get together as a lot of people together? And today what happens is, we use this, this WhatsApp is not the only way that you connect. Yeah, thank you, Sukhjot. Thank you very much. So one of the things that you have to do is, you have to find ways to arrive at common ground. If you get to a common ground on whether it's to do with just connecting, or whether you want to just post something which is on your mind, then GHRC is your platform. You want to learn something. There are some 150,000 courses. That's what Ramesh tells me. Very, very popular. By the way, if these courses are abounding, now I'm not very sure whether those kinds of courses, whether they'll be suitable for me, because what if they are very tough courses? Don't worry, there's a small test which will check out whether you need to be at the expert level or the beginner's level. So this platform does a lot for you. There's also a section called jobs. Now, many of you may not have even gone to that section called jobs. Jobs are important. At the end of what you wish to do in your 3-year curricula is to get yourself a suitable job. Now, as a first year, what does it matter what a job is? It is important, because you'll get to know what kind of jobs are coming up. What kind of skills are people asking today? There was a time when nobody even bothered about AI/ML skills. Today, that is coming up. Once upon a time, it was blockchain. And before that, there was some other thing. So things keep changing. Skills keep changing. What you have to do is, you have to get onto a platform. Now, this is a platform where you can, it's your platform. You can do whatever that you want with that platform. Why? Because this is what your institution has done for you. It has created an opportunity where you can get onto a platform. If not for anything, you can just browse and see what are the more important and interesting topics that come up. Hey, by the way, I'm not interested in management. Don't worry. I'm interested in sports. Go ahead, post something. For all you know, no, I'm not even interested in sports. I'm interested in something different. Like what? Maybe music. Fine. Post something about music. People who have adjunct skills, whether you're a sports person, by the way, people who are on the call, make sure you have a hobby. One of the things that I always ask people when they come up for interviews is, what is your hobby? Your investment in your hobby will tell me whether you are good in a subject or not. And I'll tell you a small story. Many years ago, I used to be working with a very, very wonderful company called Microland. And their chairman was a gentleman called Pradeep Kar, a very young gentleman then. I was also very young, and both of us used to make a great team. He was, of course, my boss, head and shoulders above me. One day he said, I want to recruit one particular person, and he must have these following skills. So he drew up a lot of skills, and I said, don't worry, I'll get to the market and we'll find the right person for you. So we hunted down a person who I thought was just spectacular. He came from the right institutions. He had all the right credibilities, credentials. He was very good in his job. He also came from a good brand, and we said, here is the man. And I was very confident that he's going to sail through. He went in for the interview. In the interview, Pradeep Kar asked him this question, gentlemen, tell me, what is your hobby? So he said, well, my hobby is photography. Oh, photography. What about photography? He says, I love to take pictures. Now, tell me, what is the mathematical equation between the focal length and the aperture size of your camera? I'm not even asking you about shutter speed. At which point in time, this gentleman could not respond to that question. And then he says, okay, even if you did not answer this, tell me what it means to have a lens, and what is it? How do you really capture an image? This person was again speechless. And this whole thing went on for a couple of minutes and says, okay, have you heard of Hasselblad? And what is great about Hasselblad? By the way, people, Hasselblad was the first camera which went up on the moon. Hasselblad was the one which took pictures of the moon. The first pictures that you ever received upfront was from Hasselblad. This was way back in 1969. And Hasselblad is a fantastic camera. And this person said, well, I've never heard of Hasselblad. So Pradeep asked him, so what do you use? He says, I use a Kodak aim and shoot. And then he says, oh, very well, very well. The interview was over. This person thought he had done exceedingly well because on the theory part, everything went out like a charm. Pradeep called me and I asked Pradeep, so you were very happy with this gentleman? He said, he failed my test. And then I asked him, what did he fail about? He failed photography. So I said, you mean to say you failed a person because of photography? He said, no, it's not about photography. It was about the passion that that person has about a hobby that he says is something that he's wedded to. And he says, so you really junked a person because of that? I said, yes. And then I asked him another question. Pradeep, do you remember what my hobby was? He said, of course I remember. When you came up for your interview, you said, reading is my hobby. And I asked you a question, okay, what is the latest book you're reading? And I said, Teams at the Top. And who is it by? Katzenbach. And then I asked you another question. What does he say about in this book? And then you were able to tell me for the next 5 minutes nonstop what this book was about. I knew that you had passion in you. So people, whether you get a threshold mark of, let's say, 60 to get into first class, or whether you get 95%, it may not matter much. What matters is in what you possess as your, let's say, hobby, can you demonstrate passion? If you say growing plants is my hobby, you should know enough about that. So take these questions seriously. GHRC is a platform which allows you to do all of this. You can play with it. You can do multiple things. You can get people who are like-minded. How will you know somebody is like-minded? You have, let's say, about 1,000 people in an organization such as yours, which is a university. In your college, how do you know people share what you have? You post something and people will tell you whether they are interested in that post or not. That's how it starts to build. Today, what networking does is it disintermediates hierarchies. Today, you can write to Anand Mahindra or Mahindra and Mahindra and ask him a question and he'll respond to you. Of course, he'll respond to you provided you ask him the right kind of question. You can't say, okay, what's the price of a Thar, which is in the market, the latest one? That he's not going to respond to you. Somebody else will come and respond to you. But you can ask people questions. You look at all the leading people in the country. They are people who network very well, because today your network is your net worth. Knowing that this is important, Mr. Kali Prasad, who's been in the field of professional services for several years, felt it important that Ethames must have a technology platform which allows for this to happen. Now, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You may have the best of vehicles, but if you don't drive it, there is no point. You may have a beautiful Lamborghini in your garage, but you need petrol or you need high octane fuel to make sure that Lamborghini drives well. So what do we have? We got a great platform. What we are about here today is to tell you a little bit about the platform and what it can do for you. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn this over to Ramesh. Ramesh is really an outstanding gentleman. He is the CEO of this particular venture, which is Global HR Community. By the way, when you talk about HR, it's just not HR, but this is anything to do with, you want to do it about marketing, of course, marketing. You want to do something about some other serious kind of work, of course, because the platform is agnostic to the subject that you're about. So with this, I'm going to turn this over to Ramesh Ranjan, our very, very knowledgeable partner, and he's going to take you through a little bit about what GHRC, what was the intent behind GHRC, and I would rightfully say that he's the father of GHRC, both in the conceptualization and the way that he's running it. So over to you, Ramesh. I will be available for questions till about 2:15, but then let's wait for Ramesh to say his piece. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Nathan, for all the kind words about me. And of course, first of all, thanks to Kali. In many ways, Kali, he's been the first believer in GHRC. Even before we had our, what do you call, the puja to start this whole proceedings, Kali was there supporting us and sponsoring us. He was one who believed in this whole concept of building a community. So, Kali, thank you so much for that. You've always been a bedrock of support for GHRC. And once again, thank you for being one of the early subscribers for the institutional membership. And once again, thank you for inviting us to share a bit of our perspectives and knowledge and experiences with your students. And of course, Nathan, thank you for all the kind words that you spoke about me and the company. So basically, again, as Nathan said, Kali also said this, Shrikant, Nathan, and me have been in the industry for quite some time, about 3 to 4 decades. We have seen what it is to work in a large organization. And we have been there, done there, and seen there. We also felt that there's a need for us to give back something back to the society, back to the fraternity. And that is where we started this initiative called the Global HR Community. Of course, Nathan has also been the national president of the National HRD Network, which is the largest professional body of all HR professionals. And I also happen to be a vice president at the Bangalore chapter. And we realized the power of a community. And at the same time, we also saw the challenges and the pitfalls that we saw in some of the communities which are operating across. And that is why we felt that there is a gap, there is a dire need to get people together. And that is how we conceptualized and started this whole platform, which is a digital platform largely. Though, of course, we can have an offline events. It's largely a digital platform which helps to bring people together. Who are the people you're bringing together? We're bringing basically people managers, HR professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs or startup entrepreneurs, academic institutions like Ethames, and of course the students. And why are we coming together? Why are we developing this platform? Basically to promote excellence in people management, whether it's an individual, whether it's an organization or the society. And how do we plan to do that? By helping people to discover, to connect, to learn, to grow, and to contribute. So The global HR community is basically a digital platform which helps people to come together, to discover, to help them to connect, to learn, and to grow. Imagine I have a platform which is a combination of a LinkedIn, a Naukri, a Udemy or a Coursera, a Yellow Pages, or your Just Dial as you call it, and then a job portal, and then a gamified platform, and Amazon, all put together in single platform. If you take any one of these platforms which I just explained, they're all standalone platform, but here's it that we're trying to build all of them put together. So what do we do? First of all, as Nathan said, the primary motive of this is to actually help people in terms of connecting, right? As he rightly said, your network is your net worth. What happens is most of the times we view the outside world through the narrow prism of our organization. And in your case, it's of course educational institutions, right? So most of us believe that what happens within the narrow boundaries of our organization or the education institution is the real world. And we probably sometimes build blinkers and become like a horse or a frog in the well, right? Little realizing that what's happening outside of our boundaries is much more than what we think. So therefore, I think it's very, very important that people, as much as they focus and pay attention to their own institution or organizations, also need to look beyond in order so that they can also develop themselves holistically. So that is where I think, as we rightly said, your network is your net worth, right? How well are you networked with people? How well are you connected with people? Let's not look at connections on network like your number of connections on Facebook or number of connections you have on Twitter or something else. But these are genuine connections that you have, not just connections for the sake of, a like or a comment for a particular event, but genuinely connections that you have. You do not know when these connections are going to help you. When will they come to your help? Whether you're looking for a career opportunity, whether you're looking for somebody to mentor you, whether you want to know what are some of the best practices happening elsewhere, whether you want to know how other people are managing challenges that you're facing, if you want to learn something, or if you really want to take part in some movements or activities outside of the organizations, that is where this networking helps you. And that is where communities like us, the global HR community, helps people, right? So as I said, it helps you to connect. And in the process of connect, what happens is you're able to build networks, you're able to build relationships, and then you're able to find some meaningful interactions with people. And of course, through the process of connect, what we also do is we connect the consumer and the service provider. There are people who want to provide services to people, and then we have people or members in the community who want to avail of these services. So that's why this particular platform comes together to help people in terms of a consumer or a service provider. And then again, as Nathan said, we have a job board, which helps people in terms of organizations looking for talent can come and advertise their job requirements. And then our members, many of you are members over there, can go and look at job opportunities and then try and shape your career. We also have a very good platform for learning. As part of our guiding principle, we said connect, learn, and grow. When we talk about learn, we have a GHRC Academy where we have two dimensions to it. The first dimension is where we have curated some courses, about 25 of them are there at this point of time, which has been curated by industry thought leaders and some of our own members. And then we also have another dimension to the academy, which helps you in terms of skilling, upskilling, and cross-skilling. So we have tied up with another third-party service provider. Our upskilling platform helps you in terms of skilling yourself in 1,800 skills, covering about 2,400 job roles. And of course, it has got about 150,000 courses which are available on the upskilling platform. It is not restricted just to management or people management. It's a wide array, including technical skills, whether you want to learn photography, whether you want to develop a website, whether you want to learn about AI, or whether you want to learn about marketing or about financial management, all aspects of skilling is available in a particular platform. The beauty of this, or something unique about this, is based on the role that has been assigned to you, based on the role that has been defined for you, the platform will suggest what are the skills that you should have. If you're a people manager, you're a first-time manager, you're an individual contributor, you're a student, you're a faculty, the platform will then identify what are the skills that you should have. And then, of course, this is based on the recommendation engine, which goes through the 1,800 skills and then says these are the 20 skills or 10 skills that you must have. And then what it does is it also helps you first to assess yourself. So there's a self-assessment to start with to know where you stand. And then based on your level of understanding and your expertise, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an advanced or an expert, then it will recommend to you what are the skills and what are the level of skills that you should acquire. And then here again, the learning pedagogy or the teaching pedagogy is on 3 dimensions. One is what we have is called as the curated courses, which are again drawn from some of the best courses around the world. And then we have the second one is the recommended courses from the best institutions in the world, from Udemy, from Coursera, from edX and others. The recommendation engine picks up all those courses which are available. Of course, all these are free courses available, which will help you in terms of advancing your skills. And then the third dimension, what we have is called as the learning bits or learning bites, as we call it, where there are some articles, there are some videos, there are some podcasts which are recommended for you to go through in order for you to develop this particular skill. And then the last but not the least, the platform also provides you an opportunity for getting connected with mentors. For each one of the skills, we have got identified subject matter experts who are available for mentoring the people. But let me tell you in this, the mentoring is going to come at a cost. But then if you have any questions and you leave a question, the mentors can return back or answer back, but there's no cost to it. But if you want to engage a mentor for an individual mentoring session, then there's a cost attached to it. So it's a great platform for students, for professionals, for anyone if they're looking at skilling and upskilling. Believe me, in today's world, I think continuous improvement and continuous upgradation is the key to success. I cannot say that, I have done my MBA, I've done my MSSW, I've got 40 years of experience, I know everything. Believe me, I know as much as you know. And for me to stay relevant, for me to be here and be talking to you, I need to upgrade myself. I need to continuously update. So they say, right, in today's world, even to stand where you are, you need to continuously keep running. Otherwise, you're going to be out of the race and people from behind you will go ahead of you. So therefore, continuous learning, continuous upskilling is the key. And this is a great platform for you to come together. What is not being taught, say, at the Ethames College, you can pick it up over here. I don't think any institution in the world can, give you all of the knowledge required. There is a requirement for us to do some self-learning. Besides the curriculum which has been prescribed by the university or the college, we also need to put our effort in terms of upskilling ourselves in areas which are not being covered and which are very relevant and important in the industry. We also, as part of the platform, we have another feature, which is basically a marketplace where we have listed about 350 ebooks, which would be of relevance. Once again, not restricted to just people or HR, but to entire general management, including financial management. If you want to be financially prudent and financial disciplines, you want to learn about website designing, all those ebooks are available at no cost for our people. As Nathan rightly said, we have a very wide array of knowledge available on the platform. You have opportunities to join groups, right? There are a lot of groups on digital HR, groups on artificial intelligence, group on recruitment, groups on leadership, groups on DEI, groups on digital HR, right? and so many other groups which are there and forums, and you can join these forums and start interacting with some of the members and start contributing. So when it comes to contribution, which is the last part of it, I think we strongly believe that this community cannot be just the handiwork of a few people, not just the founders and the 6 or 8 members we have in the team. It is going to be a community of the people, by the people, and for the people. So therefore, every member in the community has to contribute if the community has to really grow. We are fortunate now that we have about 1,600 members on the community platform. We aspire to grow it much larger. Shrikant's ambition, of course, is 500,000, but that I know that's a long distance to go. But we still are a sizable force at this point of time, and we request all members to contribute to the platform by way of knowledge sharing, by way of engagement, by way of participating in research and surveys, and by generally networking and connecting with people. So this is at a very high level. What is it that the global HR community is all about? We can organize a demonstration of the platform at a subsequent time. Since Nathan is just available in another 15 minutes, I will stop at this point of time. If there are any questions that people can have at this point of time for Nathan, we can take it. And maybe later after that, I could take it over and share with you something a little more, or answer some of the questions which I think the college has forwarded to us. We can address some of these questions. So is that okay, Kali?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Yeah. So I will stop at this, having given you a brief idea of what the platform is, what is it capable of doing, and with the request that all of you all please be engaged and make the best use of it. So any questions to Mr. Nathan, or Nathan, you want to say some anything addition to what I said, or we can ask some questions to Nathan directly. Nathan? Yeah. Any questions from the students, faculty? Kali?
Yeah, I think they're a little maybe I don't know what state they are in. They're not asking the question. They may not have got the clear essence of what maybe available there. How to utilize that? The biggest challenge is that no, we have everything there.
Right.
How do we make best use of it? So, for example, just I'm asking that if I want to do like I'm a faculty.
Right.
Now, the latest is what we are saying is that we have to use this ChatGPT kind of generative AI tools
Right.
in teaching.
Right.
Okay. So, if I want to know how best can I use it, ChatGPT in my teaching, right? So, are there any courses on this platform which our faculty can do, short courses?
Yes, there are courses available on the platform. May not be specifically what you rightly said, but there's so many courses on AI, which is there available on the platform. You can search for it, and maybe at a specific or offline, I can come back to you and share with you. We can help in terms of organizing a small session in this regard for your faculty or others also.
Yeah, because what's happening is that across the globe, many leading universities are now saying that the AI, or particularly Gen AI, has to be a part of the teaching and learning environment. Okay? So how do I use the various tools? There are now many tools available now, not just only ChatGPT,
I know.
Copilot, or Gemini, or Midjourney, or Pi. There are so many things are there. And also now, many tools have come with the, instead of maybe LLM, they are now based on SLMs. So it's specifically focused on certain sector, particular subjects of the particular industry. So this, how do we, use that in our teaching? Our college, we're quite focused on how do we, teach the best that is possible anywhere in the world. If something being taught at Harvard University or Stanford somewhere, why can't we teach the same thing here? So what prevents us? Knowledge is accessible to us. All kinds of knowledge is accessible to us, and it's a matter of how do we take that knowledge and how do we transmit to the students. So that's the I want one question. Maybe some of the tools which are working very well for particularly academic environment where the faculty are going to use those tools see, when it comes to teaching, there are 3-4 stages. One, you do a complete research before you in a particular concept or a topic you are going to teach. Entire research can be done by your ChatGPT and it can give you a summary form. This is what your latest what is happening in this subject, and this is what you can teach to the student. Secondly, you can also build case studies. You don't have to buy Harvard case studies anymore.
Right.
You say, this is the topic I want to teach, please give me case studies. That gives you case studies in whatever detail is required. And it can also give you assessments. I want to assess the students. So like, give me assessment for this particular topic. Okay. So that also, you can use the ChatGPT to do all of that.
Right.
Similarly, the students, when they come up with a solution for a particular case study, and they can use various tools in answering this question, you should allow them.
Right.
And then when they come back, the interesting point is that each ChatGPT given by each person, the answer is always different. It's not the same. Okay. So therefore, you need to compare and see what the difference is in this and why the difference is there.
Right.
That's where you learn. And once you learn that way, then you will never forget.
Correct.
So you use both in learning as well as teaching the Gen AI tools.
Right.
So that's where I think most of our faculty, I think probably are interested in, and knowing more on that. How do we become the experts in teaching?
Right.
Using latest Gen AI tools. That is one problem I thought there will be any. I don't know any faculty. Our principal, I think today she's traveling. She couldn't participate probably. Any other please, the colleagues, please talk to if you have any questions, please do raise. We have the opportunity to talk to the best professors in the country. These are the best guys in the country.
I used to teach for the last 10 years MBA till June. I was a professor for almost 10 years. So I know a bit of industry and the academic institution.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Nathan, any parting word before you leave, Nathan? I know you have a medical emergency.
Yeah. I was just attending to that before I again came back here. So, Kali, to respond to that particular question, I think we can organize a good webinar where we can get experts to come and speak to people who are attending the webinar and possibly give you some leads on how we can use ChatGPT. And of course, there are some merits and demerits of using that, but at least it gives a good handle on how we should go forward. To the people who are on this call, I just want to say a couple of things before I leave. Number one, all of you will do very well in your lives. I want to repeat this. All of you will do very well in your lives. You have joined a very good institution, an institution which is very progressive. I have not known of any institution which has a technology platform to just bring people together, to help people learn together through several things, to contribute to, and also this is a great opportunity for you to play with a little bit of that which you know and that which you don't know as well. So this is a phenomenal opportunity, which is why I keep saying this. You will all do exceedingly well in your life. What do I want to leave you with? A little bit of curiosity. Be curious. Why does this happen? Why? They say that you get the ultimate truth if you can ask the seventh why. Why does it happen? Then another answer. Why? You do that 7 times, you get the absolute truth. So 1, be curious. 2, if you ask what an employer needs from students, they need only 2 things. They need initiative and they need drive. They need initiative, they need drive. All things being equal, it's not the person who's got 98%. Of course, they will be given a preference for the interview, but they may not be the people who are getting selected. The one that they look for is, do you have energy? Do you have visible energy? Are you the kind of person that they can trust this work with? People who are, that's why, I'm very fond of these people. By the way, I must, in all honesty, just confess to you that I was a topper in my class, was a gold medalist from XLRI. So I always thought that it's only the guys who do very well in their lives academically will do well. It just turns out that I learned very early in my life that academics and what you do in your job could be very different. And therefore, equip yourself with things which are just more than what happens in class. Network. You will never know that of, let's say, the 150 people who are in your class, one of them could one day be the CEO of ICICI Bank or the World Bank. You never know. One of them could be a Nobel laureate. You never know. So maintain contact. Today we have a lot of tools available for that. You will all do very well. Particularly, I'm impressed with the people who are on this call, because it only means that you care. So every person on this call, a very special call out to each one of you. Thank you. And I hope to meet you again, perhaps live at your campus. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers. Kali, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you, people.
Okay. So, Kali, we can continue our discussions.
Yeah.
As you rightly said, I think Peter Mendes was here recently, and he also said about this, right? Today, it's not about cribbing about AI or digital technology. It's about how do we live with it, how do we leverage it to our advantage, right? In fact, I keep saying it's no more artificial intelligence, it's about augmented intelligence. It's about how do human beings use AI to augment their own intelligence. So as you rightly said, it's about time that we talk about leveraging AI in education institutions, in our teaching, in our learning, in every facet of our life, starting from the academic foundation. I will certainly come back to you. We will see how we can put up a small program to help address this particular issue. We can either do a webinar or we can even come physically and plan something for you on a larger scale in the institution. As we said, GHRC can help on 3 fronts or a few fronts. We can help in terms of looking at your curriculum and then trying to rehash it if required in line with what the industry wants. That is something that we can look at. We can then work towards faculty in terms of organizing a faculty development program, and where we could bring in the digital technologies and other frameworks to help them augment their particular skills. And third, again, of course, Kali, we can also look at organizing a HR seminar or a seminar or a workshop or leadership workshop for the benefit of the students. And of course, we'll be very, very happy to partner in terms of research. Our core competence, of course, is people management. But if there are other allied areas where research can be, study can be organized, we'd be more than happy to help partner with the Ethames College in terms of research, which is something which I think in this part of the world is not so very encouraging. Most of the research are Western oriented. Most of the case studies are again Western oriented. We would be very happy to see a lot more research and case studies coming out of this part of the world. After all, India now is the leading economy and the global talent capital. So I think we'll be very happy to associate in this regard. Kali?
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions, please? Yeah.
So can I add a few words on this?
Sure.
So hi, so this I Devi Prasad. So actually, what me and Satwan and Chairman sir and a couple of more people, we're thinking if we can get some students, or approximately 10 students, to write, keep a journaling their progress for next 3 years. Like if what we can document 1,000-day journey, how it was when I entered the college and how I am after I entered, my college is over. So, like how you said, in the research part, if you can help us, getting the students in the mindset of how the research will help, what are the benefits, what are, how it can help in the professional careers, as well as helping them in vision, businesses and decision making skills. So, we will be implementing that, pretty soon, and like a experiment batch. So yeah, I actually love to take your thoughts and make it a bit more useful, credible for the whole organization, and see you can achieve great things together.
Absolutely. I think we'll be more than happy to explore this, right? I may not have a
Yes.
ready-made answer right now, but definitely
Sure.
let's take this offline, understand what exactly your program is, what requirements, what are the expectations, and then we'll see how we can partner in terms of delivering it. But I think it's a great initiative, right? The 1,000-day digital diary, which is going to pen down the journal or the experiences of a student in a campus. If you're able to capture this, at least about a few dozen of them, I think it'll be a great data point for research and for fine tuning or teaching and learning pedagogy for the future.
Yeah, the initial batch, my plan is to start with a student of 9, 3 from each year, so that everything is recorded and everything we have 3 different mindsets and skills. So their initial plan was to write journal physically, but again I thought that would be quite mundane.
Digital is
I
best.
attended this a workshop a couple of weeks back on creative thought process and creative design. So there, what I thought is, what if we can help students write the journal in PPT format, on PPT, basically. Like it's just a note of paper and they have their emojis. We will create it. I have my team. They'll promote whatever icons, logos, make it interesting, make it wacky, make it very current for the Gen Zs. So that way, on PPT is a lot easier to capture and the work can be done faster. Also, they also achieve get to work with the systems, right? So they can just write this journal on a note format, or they can write this journal in a PPT format. So let's say today I'm on a day 500. So how would day 500 look like? So that could be if it is explained in PPT format or journal format. So that person captures his journey and he's learning from GHRC or any other events, workshops. That is the idea in that. So
Right.
ideas that motivate student enough so that they can capture this, and there'll be other students also seeing that, oh, this guy's I mean, this girl is doing quite well, this boy is quite doing well, so maybe I want to try this, right? So if we can organically develop the interest among the students, that is something, yeah, I want to achieve.
Absolutely.
We want to achieve as a community, as a college.
Right. As you rightly said, right, community is something like a herd mentality. But then generally people construe herd mentality in the negative context. But if we can use it in the context of a positive context and then bring about some change in the students and in the community and show some early wins and successes, I think it will be a great initiative for the rest of the academic fraternity.
Yes, I'll come offline, sir, for this
Sure.
along with Chairman, sir.
Sure. So are we addressing today the college students or what's the profile of participants we have on the call?
You have the
So
faculty and the students, college students. Yeah.
I know when you say college students, what is the profile of what? Are they the school students? Are they bachelor students, MBA students?
Yeah. We are only UG college, regular college. BBA, BCom, BCA.
Okay, right. That's all. Right.
Yeah.
So there were a few questions which people sent to me.
Hmm.
So would people want to ask that, or should I be able to answer that?
Yeah, you can probably, some people may have a little bit of way of asking in the public, but they just may not put it in the chat box. Yeah, chat box there.
Okay. So let me tell you, see, from my experience, as I said, having been about 4 decades in the industry and also parallelly teaching for the last 1 decade, I have people, especially in today's students, people are aspiring now to make a career for themselves. So and then, people come and ask me, sir, how do I get placed? What is it that organizations are looking for? So I think the first thing I would ask is, I asked this question. I hope it doesn't hurt people. I say, why should they hire you? Right? Why should organizations come and hire you? When you are aspiring for a job, the same time the companies have a question, why should I hire you? Right? So what is a company which is coming to a campus, or if you're going to an entry or whatever thing, what are they looking at you? Who are you? Right? Basically, other than, of course, the physical aspects of you, there is also you. What are you bringing to the table? You're first bringing to the table knowledge, right? Whatever you learned in school or in college or whatever you learned in your degree is the knowledge that you bring to the table. But just having knowledge by itself is of no use. Organizations also expect that you bring some skills, right? So I'm sure all of you all know what a skill is. Skill is nothing but application of knowledge. Many of us are very good in mugging up a book just 2 or 3 days before the exam, and then doing very well, as Nathan said, 80%, 90%, 95%. But it comes to skill, right? We would have studied finance and accounts, but then the skill is nothing but application of knowledge becomes a skill. Can I, do a balance sheet reconciliation? Do I know how to write a book of accounts? What's a double entry bookkeeping in reality? It looks very simple when they teach you in the classroom. But when you actually go sit and write a journal and then make the entries, and then end of the month or end of the quarter or end of the year, you have to reconcile it and ensure that your accounts are clean. And then, of course, do your trial balance and then come up with your profit and loss. It's a big skill, right? So merely learning is not important, but application of the knowledge which translates into skill is very, very important. And how do you build that, right? Through internships, through various projects that the colleges offer to you, through the various research and other avenues that are available to you, you can experiment in terms of applying your knowledge and converting them into a skill. Again, why should they hire you? You might have the knowledge, you may have the skill, but most of the time people hire you for attitude. Believe me, I'll tell you a secret. I've hired thousands of people in my career, from the IIMs to the tier 1 and tier 2 colleges. Good hiring managers hire for attitude and train for skill. You may not be so very skilled, you may not be so very good in terms of knowledge, but if you got the right attitude, right? Remember the example that Nathan gave you about Pradeep Kar of Microland, where even though the student was very highly educated, but because he found him lacking in terms of attitude, he dropped him, right? So you are nothing but a bundle of package of knowledge, skill, and attitude, and you must ensure that in all these three areas you are good, and that is how people are going to hire you, right? In addition to that, there were other questions. What are the skills that companies will be looking for as a recruiter? Again, I will share with you some of my perspectives. When I look at a candidate, when I want to hire people, what is it that organizations look for? Be it a EY or a Deloitte or a Schneider Electric and other, from what I've seen. I think first thing is there must be a hunger in the belly right? For many of us, we take it for granted that job comes to us, or we are all come from an affluent family, and therefore, job is just another event or any thing in our life. But what people look for is hunger in the belly. Do you really require a job? You have to show that hunger in the interview, right? And then, of course, when you talk about hunger, it's also about hunger for learning, right? I know that not all of us are fully prepared. We are not industry ready. Narayan Murthy once said students are 80% of students are not industry ready. Maybe it's quite true, but that is where the learnability quotient comes. Do you have the hunger to learn? What is it that I don't know? Will I be able to pick it up? Do I have the aptitude? Do I have the interest? Do I have the capability to learn quickly? Learn on the fly, learn on the job. That is another thing which people are going to look for. So therefore, you have to demonstrate how you are learning on a continuous basis. As much as I speak now, right, I didn't know anything about the AI, digital, and chat GPT, but over the last few months and years, I also started to continuously learn and upgrade myself. So as I said before, you have to upgrade yourself, otherwise you're going to be lost out in the market. And of course, needless to say, right, Nathan again talked about it, you have to challenge the status quo. If people did not challenge the status quo, the world wouldn't have been what it is today, right? Remember the phones. I don't know how many of you all knew that the mobile phones, when I first got one, was almost the size of a brick. Kali will remember. It was like the size of a brick, probably weighing a few kgs. It had a big antenna. Then it had buttons in it with no screen. But somebody out there challenged the status quo and said, why do I need button? Why should a phone be so big? Why should a phone have a antenna? They challenged the status quo, continuously improved it, were creative in it, and that's how we've seen the evolution of the phones that's happening today. Or you take the banking industry or the financial inclusion of the financial industry. Thanks to UPI, digital finance, right? Today, almost every citizen of this country, 1.4 billion population today, has been able to use the financial policies and the benefits available from the government or from various institutions, right? Today, a whole lot of banking activities have been reduced to digital. And remember, to draw cash 5 years back or 10 years back was a nightmare. But today, I can, without going to a bank, I can transfer hundreds and thousands of rupees to anybody across the world. Because somebody out there challenged the status quo, why do I need physical banks? Why do I need physical cash? Why do I need so many approvals? Can I do away with all that and bring in some revolution and some changes? So therefore, the other thing what recruiters look for is students or people who are willing to challenge the status quo, who are not going to accept what is it there, who are willing to look beyond and think out of the box, which basically leads to creativity and innovation. And then I need to say, of course, needless to say, in today's world, you need to be digitally savvy. Whether you're a faculty, whether you're a student, whether you're a professional, whether you're a startup entrepreneur, or even a citizen, you need to be digitally savvy. How do I use all the digital skills, all the technologies available for the benefit of us? How do I leverage ChatGPT in the right way, for a benefit as a student? That is what we need to be when we talk about digital savvy. Another skill which people look for is agility and adaptability. Remember the dark days of COVID-19, right? Believe me, I was teaching at XIME, which is one of the premier B schools in Bangalore. And the day, I think March, when the COVID struck, and then they talked about teaching, learning from home, we had to teach from college using the digital media. 99% of the professors and the institution was not prepared for teaching through Zoom or teaching through digital media. People had to learn on the fly, students had to learn on the fly, and then we had to ensure that the academic institution continues, right? So how well people adapted, how well people were able to leverage these technologies to ensure that the economy, the education, everything, the life went on despite the tragedy and the calamity that were before us. So adaptability and agility, right? How quickly can we change depending on the circumstances, right? After all, they say that change is the only thing constant. So therefore, how agile am I? How am I able to turn around myself and then adapt myself to the changing circumstances outside in the world or in the organization or in the society or in the education institutions? So agility and adaptability is going to be a very, very important skill which we need to develop and demonstrate in all this. So believe me, in many of the good institutions and organizations today, they follow something called the competency-based interview model, right? What they do is they will tell you beforehand, this is the competency I'm looking for. And then they will give you a situation and then ask you, how do you demonstrate that you have this competency? So that is what it's called as competency-based interview model. So you will have to not only be able to articulate, but also be able to demonstrate what skill that you have effectively. So please learn to practice the competency-based assessments and competency-based interviewing skills, and how do you face such interviews. Another thing which I would like to say is I find today's people are very ambitious and very aspirational. That's a great trait. I love that. But then we should also be very clear that it should not turn into greed, right? We must know limitations. We must know. I have seen graduates just passing out of college coming and saying, I want strategic work. I'm not happy doing routine work, tactical work. I will not do these type of work. I'll only do strategic work. That's not going to be possible. Or graduates coming and asking unreasonable compensation, saying that I want 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs. So ambition and aspiration is fine, but then it should not be greedy. We have to be very pragmatic in what our expectations are, and then we need to plan our careers accordingly. End of the day, what the recruiters are looking for or organizations are going to look for is what is the value that you add to the organization. It goes back to my question, why should I hire you? By hiring you, are you adding value to the organization? And believe me, I think in today's paper you would have seen TCS Infosys has come up with some very great campus admissions program. They're talking about the value add. What is the value that you bring to the table? What is the value that you're going to add to the organization is what you must be able to very clearly articulate when you go into the interviews. For that, of course, you need to be a subject matter expert, right? If you're not good at the subject, as again, going back to the Pradeep Kare's example, you talked about photography as a passion, but if you do not know how a photography works, what are the intricacies of photography, people are not going to be impressed. So therefore, you must be a subject matter expert in whatever you do. And then, of course, I will stop by saying that when I summarize whatever I told you all this while so far, it's nothing but emotional intelligence, right? The soft skills, the behavioral skills which I talked about, the hunger in the belly, the attitude, the learnability, the creativity, the team player, the agility, the ambition, the aspiration, the values that you bring, is summing up all of them is what is called emotional intelligence. So we all need to be not only developing our IQs, but also work toward developing our EQ so that we will be able to be successful, not just at the workplace, but also in our own personal space, in our personal relationships, and in the society at large. So this is what some of the questions which I got. I thought I'll address it. And I hope I've been able to clarify some of them and open to answer any questions if something has not been clarified so far.
Sophie? Sophia?
Yes, ma'am. And right here, I think sir has covered almost every aspect of what the students wanted to know.
Yeah.
Just would like to open, the platform for the students for just 1 minute if they have any questions in mind, or even the faculty members, if you have anything to ask directly, please do so right.
Sure.
Ma'am, if there's no one, then maybe we can just move ahead. Let's move on.
Okay. So, of course, our engagement doesn't stop over here. I'm always available on LinkedIn, on emails, or on the platform. The best way is to connect with me on the platform. There is a provision for private messaging. You can message me in private in case you're not very comfortable asking a question in public. And of course, through emails and through LinkedIn, you can get connected not only with me, but Mr. Nathan, with Srikanth, and all my team members. And of course, Shubha is our point of contact with your organization, and will be more than happy to answer any question or provide any support that's possible from our end, and we're more than happy to do that.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Just to, from our organization to yours. So as we conclude our journey with the Industrial Academia Connect program, I want to take a moment to reflect on the incredible impact this platform has had on both students and faculty alike. The global human resource community has truly created a bridge that connects the realms of industry and academia, fostering collaboration and innovation. And through GHRC, we have understood how students and educators can engage with real world challenges, gaining insights that extend beyond traditional classroom walls. And for the founders and leaders of this visionary initiative, your dedication and foresight have provided invaluable opportunities for growth and development. Your commitment to aligning academic knowledge with industry needs is paving the way for a more integrated and dynamic future. A heartfelt thank you goes to every individual who has contributed to making this program a success, from the mentors who have shared their expertise to the students and faculty who have embraced this opportunity with enthusiasm. Your collective efforts have made a significant difference. In closing, may the connections forged here continue to inspire and drive positive change in both the academic and industrial landscapes. Thank you all for your dedication, passion, and commitment to bridging the gap between industry and academia. Together, we are shaping a brighter, more connected future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to our continued engagement in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophia and Kali and others.